I am so excited to be talking to my man, Brendan Coach B. Moore.
Thank you, because, when your friends know too much, they start using your government name all over the place.
I'll just go with Coach B for tonight.
Hey, I'll take it.
All right, I hear a slight echo, so I'm trying to adjust that. I don't know if it's me or if it's something on your end.
I don't
hear it anymore. Maybe it's something that you did. But hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Millennials Revealed, where the purpose of this show is to promote climates of inclusion and establish cultures of collaboration across the generations. And we focus on topics that impact and affect the lives of millennials and those that are trying to connect with this fascinating generation. And this week, tonight, we have a very special guest. All my guests are special. And tonight we have a New Jersey transplant that's living in Cary. Goodness gracious, containment area for relocated Yankees.
That's me.
That is you, my friend. And
make me go to the closet to get my Yankee hat. Next jersey.
And tonight's topic is millennials that are focused on fitness, or how millennials have changed the fitness game is what we're really going to talk about, because it's a new era that comes along with new expressions and new expectations, and that includes how millennials approach fitness. And you are in the fitness industry, my friend, so I'm going to stop talking and let you introduce yourself to the people and tell us a little bit about yourself, Coach B.
Okay, so good evening. I've participated in this call before, not as a guest, but just simply as a guy who was interested in the call. So I've enjoyed these talks. Many of you are probably tuned in right now that I've been in the chat room with. So I'm so happy to be here as a guest this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Brendan Moore. I always introduce myself that way, but it's one of these things that kind of, it's a crazy situation, because once you meet me, within like the first week, you never call me by my first name again. Everyone calls me. Everybody calls. But when I introduce myself, I say, hi, I'm Brendan. And eventually you end up calling me. It's been that way across space and time. I'm a certified nutrition coach and a USA weightlifting certified club coach, which means I help people achieve the awesome, right? So I help teams and organizations to put their best athletes on the field, period. That's what I do. I've worked with NCAA teams. As a matter of fact, my NCAA women's soccer team just made the Final Four for the first time in program history this year. And the Final Four tournament was...
Give me some applause for that.
Thank you, sir. And the tournament was actually held here in Cary, which was fantastic. So that was great. I work with club teams of all different sports and kids of all ages. I work with Olympians for Team USA and Team Canada. I've coached both. And individual athletes. As a matter of fact, one of my guys who hopefully is on the call tonight is the 2-time world record holder for most pull-ups in 24 hours. So the obscure. And most importantly, I help regular people, moms and dads, to just who want to necessarily shed a few pounds, or to get in the best shape of their life, or just be the better version of themselves, to go from wherever they started to wherever they want to go. I have notes, dude. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep rambling to you.
No, that's all right. Well, I do want to say this. My good friend, Mr. Bob King, who I've never met, but he's my good friend, just made a suggestion that there are 6 people that are logged on, as you can see indicated across the top of your screen there, the +6. And Bob is suggesting for those +6, I do not know who you are because I can't see your identification. But if you have not logged on via Twitter, if you log on via Twitter, you will be visible to the rest of us, and you will be able to participate with in the conversation and in live chat. So for those of you who are logged on but did not log on via Twitter, please do so we can see who you are, identify yourself, let yourself be known, and participate in the conversation.
Yes, do it. Right. Log in with Twitter.
Yes. So how long have you been? So you are a certified nutrition coach.
That's right, sir.
All right. So I'm sure there are a lot of people out there wondering exactly what a nutrition coach is. So Can you elaborate just a little bit? Give us your 30-second spiel on what a nutrition coach does.
I can help you to align with your human design to get more out of your effort. And so there's a limitation to what I can do, and that's a fair question. What I cannot do is consult you on disease. So you can't come to me and say, hey, I have heart disease and I want to reverse that. And I'm not qualified by the state to consult you on that. You have to go to an RD for that. But if you're talking about, hey, I'd like to shed some weight, I'd like to improve my health, I'd like to decrease the likelihood that I'm going to get sick, then I can work with you on all those things. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. And for those that are looking to get clarity on any of these things that Coach B is talking about, please feel free to chime in and ask those questions. It looks like somebody was calling in. Please try to call back in again if you are looking to call in. So, Coach B.
Yes.
You know my focus is on the millennial generation.
Correct.
Name of this segment is Millennials Revealed.
Mm-hmm.
So I know one or two things about millennials, right? And so I want to understand how this connects to your industry, and I'm going to attempt to connect these dots and throw some questions your way based on what I do know about this generation.
Okay. Can I break you for 1 second real quick? Because
by all means.
I tried to connect it here. I got a couple more bullets and then you got me all the way.
Okay.
So what I do is I help people understand their human design and align with it, and then develop simple habits that will move you and put the forces of nature kind of behind your effort. How I connect with millennials, I guess, is I'm jumping forward. Is that
no, go ahead.
Okay. So all of my kids have played club sports, all of them. I'm by no means a millennial. As a matter of fact, I'm 40 plus. I got my butt kicked on my 40th birthday. Some people go on elaborate vacations on their 40th birthday. I went and did a Go Ruck Challenge, which is like 12 hours overnight butt kicking by special forces guys. But all my kids who you just saw walk past, two of which just walked past, have all played club sports. My godson is nationally ranked by ESPN. He's one of the best basketball players coming out of high school. I mean, my wife was an NCAA Division I college athlete, who won her division. So sports is in our family, and
right.
Connecting with the youth and anybody really trying to achieve goals is what I do. So yes, I have to keep up on social media. I got to keep up on music. I got to be able to connect with people that aren't necessarily in my age group and be aware of how, as we talked about in previous calls, how technology has revolutionized, my industry.
Well, millennials. Okay, I'm getting that echo again. Uh-oh. Millennials. That's all right. I think we're good now. Millennials are, according to research and data, are far more health conscious than previous generations. And I would imagine, considering that they are far more health conscious than previous generations, that would somehow directly impact your business and your industry. So are you seeing that reflected in your clientele? Or what's the percentage breakdown of your clientele? Do you have a large percentage of millennials as clientele, since they do seem to be the more health conscious generation out there?
It depends on, there's clearly two kind of avenues that are funneled into my business. There's the athletes, and that's all millennials, right?
Okay.
And
these are student athletes.
Student athletes, be it on any level. Could be, local club athletes, or it could be college athletes. Those are all millennials, But then we've also got people who are approaching a big birthday. You might be approaching 35 or 40. And we get a lot of those,
Okay.
We get people who got a scare from the doctor who said, hey, if you don't do such and such, then something negative happens, right? And that's typically, people in their 35 to 45 year age range. But so there's clearly kind of two avenues. I deal with millennials all the time. And that's in the athlete portion of the business.
Okay. So I deal with a lot of people, organizations, whether it's corporations, foundations, churches, whatever the case may be, colleges and universities. I deal with a lot of organizations that focus on engaging millennials. And a lot of them express frustration in their engagement with millennials. Mm-hmm. What has been your experience in your industry? Because I would imagine there's a different motivation. They're coming to you because they have a strong desire to do the things that you're asking them to do. So I would imagine you don't get a lot of resistance. You don't run into some of the issues that other industries may run into with the frustrations and angst that they express with this generation.
Well, I think it's a concern across the board. You still have that echo? I'm kind of getting a little bit also. I think it's a concern across the board because if you're looking at who's in the boardroom, those aren't millennials by and large, but the athletes on the field are. So there's got to be a connection between the goals of the organization and the talent on the field. Just like when you're dealing with corporations, it's the same thing with teams. Okay. The people who own or the board members of Castle, which is the big soccer club down here, are their customer are parents who have children that are ages 13, 14, 15. Okay. So in order to be in that chain of command per se, you have to be able to communicate and translate between the two. I've got to be able to understand the organization's goals and then understand the athletes. And I can't go in. They're not going to hire me if I'm not cool, bro. I mean, I got to be able to talk to the language of the athlete and to the student.
Okay. So what about a 19, let's say 18, 19-year-old athlete?
Yes.
So they are coming to you on their own, or is this something that you're doing with them through the school? So if they're in college, is this through the athletic program? Correct.
The athletic program is bringing me in.
Okay. So you still may get some so similar to the way that a coach, their basketball coach or their football coach, is asking them to do things to get them in better shape, increase their level of fitness. It's the same thing. So you may actually get resistance from your clientele.
Yes. But I think by the time you're at that level, people have been filtered out in many cases. You know, the people who you find on a team already, and especially a high level team like that, didn't get there by accident. They didn't get there by not overcoming internal resistance or external resistance. As a matter of fact, what I often find is that starts way early. 12 years old, you're dealing with club parents, and club parents are type A, bro. They are all the way invested. They're showing up. They're driving their kids all over the country, all over the state for tournaments. And their number one goal is, how do I create the best chance for my kid to excel and do what? Get college paid for. So resistance is something that, is quickly squashed internally. It's like, look, this is going to help me get from where I am to better. Yes, let's do it. But then that doesn't alleviate my responsibility of being able to connect and translate, sometimes age-old concepts to a very young mind who is used to ingesting things faster, whose attention span is shorter, and who needs kind of instant feedback. And that's a big deal.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What is your experience in this? There's a notion out there, right, that millennials are of the mindset, particularly when it comes to health and wellness and their health and fitness, right? Mm-hmm. Is that they are very health conscious and focused on health and fitness. Yet they are very resistant to institutions, particularly the healthcare industry, the healthcare institutions, only going to healthcare institutions, doctors, clinics, whatever, in a more reactive standpoint. They feel as though they can self-diagnose, do the things to stay healthier, eat healthier, be more fit. So doing these things on their own. So there's a notion that the millennial mindset is not so much who can help me, but what can help me. With the advent of technology, with all of these apps and kind of, now when you think about the what is it? What's the Sean T thing? The Insanity
and Titan.
See, there you go. With P90X. Now, although there's still a who involved in that because someone is putting these programs together, there's a notion that the millennials, when it comes to health and fitness, are more focused on what can help me than who can help me. How does that impact you in your industry?
No, I think it's very positive.
Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that, and I think it's very positive. And I kind of don't agree with part of it saying that they're reactive. I think they're proactive. And I separate wellness and from healthcare in the sense that healthcare to me is the industry that cleans up the mess once the milk is spilled. Once the vase is broken, here comes the glue, and we're putting it back together. And I find that we're talking about wellness. In my mind, I'm talking about preventative stuff. I think that they're going to get a Shaun T DVD or tuning into Instagram to your local, nutrition or fitness celebrity and following what they do, whether it's right or it's wrong, is a very proactive behavior. And we see a lot of that. That's why you have guys on Instagram who have, 3 million followers because they know how to work out or they know how to eat right or whatever. And that's not good or bad. It's just a fact, a fact that this didn't exist 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there was no fitness personality who can go direct to consumer and influence people to do better and encourage them to do better. Now, there's a lot of, bad advice out there, but I think it's a very proactive idea that people can connect kind of in that Louis C.K. way directly to people who believe in the same ideas and they can make a living and they can influence people to do good and positive things. And they can be very proactive about their health and wellness. So I think it's a nice thing.
Well, there are a lot of self-help options out there for this generation. And this generation, man, they'll Google it in a heartbeat, right? They'll go on IG.
Generation versus the...
What? So what should they be aware of? What should my millennial superstars and fitness fanatics be aware of when they are taking the do-it-yourself approach? Because you said there's a lot of bad advice out there.
Yeah.
So if I see a guy on Instagram who looks fit, he's got like the 9-pack, you know what I mean? And he's like, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can trust this guy because, he's out there getting it and he looks like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I just start following him and his routines. Where is the danger in that, if any at all?
The danger in that is that it's like, I don't believe in anything frozen is going to get you where you're trying to go. You are a unique person and you have a unique starting point and unique goals. And so, following a guy who, I'm 40 years old, 40 and change, right? Roddy Piper and Macho Man Randy Savage had the 12-pack, right? These guys were on roids. I mean, I can't listen to a guy's advice just because he appears to have a result that I want, because he's not you. He genetically is not you, and he may be willing to go a lot further than you or off the reservation further than you to get that result, to sell. There was and I'm going to call people out. I'm sorry, I don't really have a great filter, but there's like multi-level marketing brands that a lot of fitness personalities are attracted to. The stuff is crap. But because I have abs and I've worked hard for it and, I work out, 2-a-days, 5 days a week, I've achieved a result. Now I need to make some money to offset my supplements and my gym habit. So I sign up for the MLM and I tell you, hey, check out this product, buy this product, look at my abs. These two things are non sequitur. They don't mean you didn't get there by doing that. And that happens a lot. And that's a problem.
The people that have the results, and then because they have the results, they now push or promote a product that leads others to believe this is how I got the result.
And it's false. That's risky. That's a big risk. And the connectivity that we have, like I said, the direct to consumer model, which is fantastic. And I love it. Is very dangerous if you don't have some real advice to kind of temper some of that stuff. So I absolutely recommend that people go see their physician on a regular basis. I recommend, that you deal with people.
So you're talking to millennials, bro. Go see your physician on a regular basis.
I'm not sure. Just to get checked out. Just to say, Doc, am I in line? Okay, that's it. And then after that, be very proactive. And I would suggest that you deal with people build a relationship to get your result. Don't buy the product. Make a relationship with the person. That's a big deal. Having somebody who can customize for you and individualize for you is a big deal. And I just want to say hello. I see my brothers online and I see Evita Robinson, who's incredible, and a bunch of friends online. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Feel free to, once True tells you, you can, to click the open seat because I'd love to hear your questions also.
No, absolutely. So no, and any of those people you just called out, feel free to click the open seat button and join in on the conversation. And that goes to anybody that's listening right now. Click on the hot seat, jump in, join the conversation, ask my man B some of the hardest nutrition and fitness questions that you have. And any and everything you ever wanted to know about fitness but were afraid to ask. This is the man who's going to answer those questions for you today.
Listen, I charge for this kind of time. This is free. Y'all can just use the time. Let's go. I will answer every question that you have about nutrition, period, and training. But you got to press the open button.
Got to press the button. All right, so I'm sure the $64,000 question that everyone always wants to know: how do I get a six-pack?
How do you get a six-pack? Okay, I love this example. This is like my patented example. So here's how people think they get a six-pack. They look at a guy on YouTube who's got the six-pack, who does extreme, super incredible workouts, and they do extreme, incredible stuff like him, and they get injured. Or they go to the local CrossFit gym and they try to do extreme, incredible stuff, and they get injured and they bounce off that. That's what people do. And that's wrong. As a matter of fact, I don't think that the first move should be going to the gym. And I'm a big proponent of the gym. But here's the example. Visualize this. True, you're gonna have to actually do this. Okay. Right. I want you to close your eyes.
Eyes are closed.
I want you to visualize you're standing at the base of a very tall hill.
Yep.
And it's ice covered.
Oh boy.
Okay. And you have on ice skates.
Okay.
And your goal is at the top of the hill.
All right.
So you begin to ice skate and you're working very, very hard up this hill.
Yes.
And you're making progress. You're no longer at the bottom. You're working hard. You're sweating. You're grinding.
Whew. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Now, what happens when you fall? What happens when you slip and stumble?
I go back down.
Where?
To the bottom.
To the beginning.
Right.
And that's what happens when you bounce off of your training. When you start going hard, you come off the couch and you go really hard and you just work trying to get to that goal. You're good. You make some progress. You work very hard, inefficient as hell. And I'm sorry, is this a family show? Pardon me, bro. When you stumble, you will fall back. You get injured, you fall back to the beginning. And that's the problem with making training the basis of your mode of progress. So we have 4 areas that you need to focus on in order to really make real progress. And that's your environment. That's a big deal. Nobody even thinks about. You know, if you're an alcoholic, I'm not going to ask you to meet me at the bar. Right. Because that environment is working against your goal. Activity, that's training. That's the second one. The third is rest and recovery. Mm-hmm. And the last is nutrition. Okay, so these 4 areas are what we work on, and we help people form habits that will turn that incline ice skating slope and make it level, so that when you now go back to work, you make progress. And even if you stop, you can still keep moving forward with the momentum.
So let me just make sure I recap that for the people. So it's environment,
activity, rest
and recovery,
and nutrition. That's correct. Okay. EARN. You got to earn it.
Aha.
4 parts to it. Most people are working with just one. 4 people say, "Oh, I got to get back to my old fighting weight," and they go to the gym, and they bounce off the gym. And that's how gyms make money, by the way. They don't make money by creating a space for you to work out. They make money by you signing up for a place to work out and not showing up. So that's it. I think millennials are very smart people. I think that we're the most, not we, what am I talking about? You guys are the most efficient generation when it comes to having access to information and using it efficiently and processing it. And I think the real deal that you guys will benefit from is figuring out how to separate the noise from the signal, and being able to ignore all the crap and figuring out what is real and what's not. And I want to say hello to Erica Goodwin, Dr. Erica Goodwin, who's lost 50 pounds with us, and she's she's a psychiatrist, a board certified psychiatrist. She just logged in. How you doing? Well, press the open seat button.
Yes, doctor, so I can give you some applause and props for that.
And my brother's on here. He dropped 30 pounds. He used to look like Fred Flintstone. I'm gonna have to. And now he looks more like Bam Bam.
Nice. Okay. So this stuff works. The stuff that you're talking about, it works. Now, what's the timeline? What's the expectation that I should have for when I can get the results of the desired results that I'm looking for? So if I want that 6-pack, I want that 8-pack, I want to be chiseled and cut up. I want to be walking around the beach, kicking sand in people's faces.
Right. That's funny because that's a very old example. You just showed your age just now. Because for those of you who don't know, back in the day when True was a kid, they had things called comic books. Comic book, piece of paper with drawn pictures of superheroes and stuff on it. And in the back of the comic books, they had ads. And the ad for Joe Reader Fitness back in the day was the 90-pound weakling on the beach hanging with his girl. And the muscle guy would walk up and kick sand in the 90-pound weakling's face and walk away with his girl. And then the guy would go home and order the product and work out, and then he'd get his results. So you just showed your age.
Get his swole on. That's right. you remember that, huh?
That's it. I probably have it on my hard drive right now because I love that. So here's my question. When's the last time you felt like you were in incredible shape, True? And I know you run like a lot, and you just did like a big running challenge.
Right.
So how long since the last time you felt like you were just in incredible shape?
Probably about 3 months ago.
3 months ago. So before then, how long did it take you to get out of shape? Like how many years of behavior led up to how many cheeseburgers?
Oh my goodness. Bruh.
Yeah.
We talking
years.
Yeah. 35 years.
Right. And the problem is because of the time and the immediate access to information we have, people expect to reverse that 35 years in 35 minutes.
Yes.
Or 35 days. And it doesn't.
Hey, look, man, we want in true millennial fashion, we want instant gratification.
Right. So yes, I can help you. We can do instant gratification. I mean, I can kick your butt, make things so strict for you that you were going to see, 3, 4, 5 pounds in a week loss. But I think what people really want, and what I'd like you to want, is to have lasting results. And that takes consistent and lasting effort. We are what we eat, and that means what we read and what we ingest in all forms and fashions. But there's a word missing from that, and that's we are what we eat consistently. And so the key to making lasting effort is some consistency, and that takes time. So what we do is we want to establish great health first. Establish great health first, and then, based on great health, get out of our own way and start making progress, shedding pounds, building lean muscle, all that kind of stuff.
Now, in your EARN acronym, right, the E is environment. Can you elaborate on environment a little bit? So should I just stay in the gym? When you say environment, should I just, what's environment? Just not go to Dunkin' Donuts? I mean, like what when you talk about environment, what do you elaborate on that? Okay,
True. You're married. You have a son.
Yes.
In your house right now. This is where you spend a lot of time.
Yes.
Now, if I tell you, look, we're going to think that's going to be a total change, game changer for you. We're going to change. We want you to put on 10 pounds of muscle. You're going to have to eat. You're going to have to train. You're going to have access to all the stuff that we want you to have access to, the foods. But if Tamika's not on board, then now you might have to split your kitchen down the middle because you don't want the crap. You don't want ho-hos anymore. But if she really likes ho-hos and you ho-hos, and she keeps buying ho-hos and put them in the cabinet, how hard is it going to be for you, to avoid the ho-hos? It's going to be really hard.
Right.
So environment in all senses of the word. If you're a guy who goes to the office every day, and you know that to reach your goals, I'm requiring you to eat a certain amount of calories a day or a certain amount of servings of protein a day or whatever, like you don't have it readily available. You're not gonna have an easy time about it. You're going to be working against yourself. So modifying all of our environments is a big deal, and it's back to that alcohol example. If
it's about modifying the environment that you're in.
That's right.
Not necessarily physically changing your environment, but modifying the environment that you're in.
That's right.
Where you spend most of your time.
Right. Modifying your environments to promote your successful behaviors. That's a big deal. Yep. Okay.
So happiness is a priority for millennials, right? And once again, research shows that 97% of millennials prioritize happiness in their life. And that may seem intuitive, right? But, it wasn't always the case for generations past when they talked about what's most important to them.
Right.
It's like when you ask if you ask the boomer when they were a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? They would say a doctor, an engineer, a pilot, whatever. You ask a millennial, what do you want to be when you grow up? The answer is happy. Right. And so it's a priority. And then that same research shows that 95% of millennials right behind happiness prioritize health, because those two are attached in the millennial mindset.
Absolutely.
Health and happiness. So how much does the mental play a role in what you do? I know you're not a psychiatrist, right? I get that. But how much of the mental plays a role in that? Because this generation, they attach health with happiness and happiness with health.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. And that's a big part of what we talk about. And I agree wholeheartedly. I think that the point of what we do is about more happiness. And I'm very much in line with that thinking. For me, my personal goal in terms of my longevity is very long and to never have to be medicated, period. And I think that the longer I'm healthy, the more moments I'm going to be able to spend with that.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at you. He's trying to do the Baptist church. As he walks by.
Yeah.
Oh, he ain't even try to hide.
No. They have practice every day. They run track, play soccer, and homework and all that stuff. So the more I'm able to kick it with them, the more years, the more moments, the happier I'm going to be. That's a big deal. So happiness is directly connected with wellness, and so very much connected with the millennial mindset. I agree wholeheartedly. I also, I think there's a financial component to it, because how much money am I going to make if I'm unable to go to work? If I'm sick, if I have downtime, if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm not going to be as happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's period. That's the deal. And this applies to us. It applies to our parents. It applies to our kids. Those moments are irreplaceable and they're without price tag. Right. So the more we're all able to take care of ourselves, the more happiness we can create. So my parents are still around. And there's two things that I want, my parents to continue to do. And that is to try to eat better and to keep moving more. And that's it. I want my mom had to have a deadlift, because I believe that's one of the core exercises that every person should do for the duration of their life. You got to be able to deadlift, period.
And explain that to me. What are the benefits of doing that?
If I could do 2 exercises only, if you told me I can only do 2 exercises for the rest of my life, I would deadlift and sprint, period. Now, deadlifting is one of the core exercises that impact a large variety of muscles in your body, from your entire back chain. And you and I are doing what right now? We're in what position?
We're sitting.
We're sitting. Now, when we're sitting, we go from this is our body when we're standing. This is our body when we're sitting. The whole front of our body, all this stuff positioned for hours of the day where it's not being used and they're becoming relaxed and shortened. I'm sorry, tightened and shortened, right? This stuff, the muscles on the back are being elongated because of the fact that we're sitting all day. So to counterbalance that, we need to stretch out the front of our body, doing things like the Cobra pose in yoga, doing different stretches to elongate our hip flexors, especially in our abs. And we need to really work on strengthening our back muscles, which have been in a relaxed position and elongated all day long. So I just feel like, if I were to only be able to do 2 exercises for the rest of my life, I would want to deadlift and I'd want to sprint. And I think that that's going to help me to live longer and really honor my physical design. And that's a big deal. My mom knows how to deadlift, and when I'm in town, she's got to sprint, period. I got pictures. She won't let me post them, but I do.
Okay. All right, cool. So you say sprint, and I run, and I don't sprint. Sometimes I may finish up a run. If I'm running outside, I may finish up a run with a sprint, like that last 100 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm running, 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever. So I'm running distance.
Yeah.
Hello, Magdalena. I hope I said that right.
Yes, you did, guys. I love the conversation.
All right. Well, we're gonna have you chime in just a second. I'm sorry, B, but I just wanted to. So for me as someone who runs distance, is that something that you would suggest that I cut back on that and start sprinting more?
Now, there's nothing wrong with running distance before somebody kills me on this thing. But I have a goal for wellness. Fantastic. Run, jog, fast walk, whatever you want to do. It's great for your heart. It's great for your lungs. It's fantastic. When my goal's beyond just wellness and I want to start shedding fat and I want to retain my muscle mass and I want to look a certain way, then I've got to measure my training on the intensity scale. And to ramp that up, I need to get more intense training. So yes, I run. I do a couple miles here and there, 2-3 times a week. But when I'm really trying to torch fat, I have to also sprint and give me, intense exercise that's going to not burn up my muscle mass, but really target my body And that's why sprinting is a big deal. Now, yes, you should walk, you should run, you should jog, all that stuff. You can do all that. You can run tens of miles a day and look like a smaller version of your original self, meaning no real muscle definition. And that's not what I want. So what I want is to get smaller and get leaner. And in that sense, I've got to turn the intensity up. And that's hard to do when you're running 10 miles.
Gotcha. Got it. So get the definition is what you're saying. Is what the sprints provide.
Get the on because the summer's here, bro.
Hey, bro. Right. Hey, look, man, some bodies are made in the winter.
That's right. And in the kitchen.
So welcome, Magdalena. Thank you so much for calling in. You are on with the nutrition and fitness expert, Coach B.
Hello.
I love it. Hi, guys. I love it. I was listening to somebody else and the call ended and I was just kind of browsing. The reason why I'm tuning in, I love the message for the new generation.
Yeah.
And I'm also in health and wellness over 20 years. And, massage therapist, a life coach, a radio show. So and as you were talking about, what is important, what would you do? I love that what you said, because what I'm recognizing, life after 40, you like it or you don't like it, you have to do something for it.
That's right.
That's right. Now, where are you calling from, Magdalena?
I'm actually calling from Florida.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice. The Sunshine State. Is that right? That's what Florida, right? The Sunshine State?
Yes, it is. Where are you guys from?
We are in North Carolina.
You are kidding me?
No. First in flight.
What part of it?
Little town called Cary, North Carolina.
I would love to go to Asheville.
Oh, it's not far. It's not far.
Okay,
I have to
listen. I have to keep you in my mind.
All right. Well, look, click on the little images that you see above our big heads, and start following us on Twitter, and we will definitely stay connected.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Magdalena.
Thank you, Magdalena. Thank you for calling in.
You were welcome.
All right.
I want to reissue my challenge to Evie or Erica or Russ to press the open seat button. Come on, just say hello, tell your experience. Let's talk about it. That's it.
No, absolutely, man. So let's go back to your work with millennials and helping them to stay fit and get fit, and particularly with the student athletes. Yeah. So how do you think you are successful with relationship building with the student athletes where other more traditional coaches may struggle with that?
I think, number one, the relationship is the basis for everything. I mean, if I was 2 or 3 degrees of social separation from the language or the music or the references that are going to be had in the locker room, I'm going to be less well received. I still make it a point, very often I go to the cafeteria and eat with athletes, just them, no other coaches, no administrators. And we're talking about, okay, what are the options here? Because they suck. And how do we turn that to our advantage? How do we kind of fillet this fish and get what we need out of it? And it has to be a situation where, yes, I'm an authority, but not necessarily authoritarian. I have to be relatable, and that's a big deal. Another thing that's key is that, my team, who is incredible, they're all over the United States and in Canada, and we've helped people all over the world. And that's only because we are we see the importance of social media, and our program is our program is, there's a huge internet component, there's a social media component, and that's how we can connect with like my man Tariq Al-Rashid, who I think is on here, and he's in Kuwait. I mean, come on, that's crazy. Or how our students in the UK could participate, and so it's about being aware of, to me, what the current state of technology is, understanding the mentality, understanding the returns that are expected, and being able to embrace that and stay super flexible. And that's a big part of what we do. I see Dr. Erica says, what is the open seat button? I see a call in button. Yes, press that. You don't need another degree to work this. Press that. And Evita says, I can't vouch for my internet connection right now, but that's okay. Give it a shot. There she goes.
I think Dr. Goodwin figured it out.
Dr. Goodwin, by the way, I have a podcast, and True was on my podcast not too long ago. And Dr. Goodwin, when she got the email about this, said that she really enjoyed when you and I got together on the podcast.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Somebody out there in the universe is enjoying something that I have to say. That's always a pleasure.
I just went down to the third smartest person on this call just now when she dialed in.
Hello, Dr. Goodwin. So very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also.
So why don't you, I know my good friend Coach B knows who you are, so why don't you very quickly introduce yourself to the rest of us that are watching and listening in, and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're calling from.
Okay. I'm Erica. I am calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL.
Where B has an allergy to coming.
I don't like it. Go ahead.
I am a Spelman College alum.
Nice.
And I guess by profession, I'm a board certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist. But I'm a traveling physician, so I travel.
Okay, so now we can talk a little bit about mental health as well as the physical health, right?
I believe so.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about how important it is to maintain mental health while you're also pursuing physical health. Can you be physically healthy? Because we were talking about how this generation has very close connections to their happiness and their health. Like this generation of millennials prioritize happiness as their number one priority, and then health ranks second. You know, based on a poll, 95% of them said health is most important, but 97% say happiness is most important. So as Coach B is talking to us about staying physically fit, what are some things that we can do and this generation can do to stay mentally fit with being pulled in so many different directions all the time? What are some things they can do to stay mentally fit?
I'd say one of the first things is get some sleep.
Really?
If I had to say a handful of things, get sleep, turn off all these electronic devices at least.
It's going to be tough.
It's hard, but it's been scientifically shown that the blue light that comes behind your iPad, your tablets, your phones, and your computers stimulate your brain until it's time to be awake. So that can actually impact the onset of sleep. And also the habits of being up and online and checking things, it just kind of interferes with arousal. And then you put that with a culture of fear of missing out. I think we've all had that moment where you're thinking someone's going to call you, or text you, or this email's coming through. So you don't really sleep as solid because you're kind of waiting on something to go off. And then your phone or something goes off at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're up. And
it's a booty call.
Yeah.
I did not have any commentary about my
Hey, do you have your headphones around somewhere nearby?
Hold on, wait. Actually, yes, because are you echoing? Am I all jacked up?
We just want to make sure we have you loud and clear because you're saying important things.
Let me have my fashion statement. Since you're in black, I'll do pink. I'm still trying to be technologically put together here.
So what you were talking about was sleep hygiene and a ritual, kind of a going to bed ritual, which is part of our course. So you want to give some people some tips on, heading down to sleep and what's going to help?
Well, part of it is trying to have a more consistent bedtime, which is probably a little bit more difficult these days. Mm-hmm. But part of it is having a bedtime, doing things that a lot of people hate doing, like making your bed, keeping your room clean.
Yes. Making the bed is something that can make a difference in your your mental wellness or mental health.
Yes, because part of sleep hygiene is just a really fancy word for saying things that can help you sleep that are not drugs.
Okay.
So making your bed, part of it is the ritual of your bed as a special place for you to sleep. So the idea with traditional sleep hygiene is your bed is used for sleep. Now, a lot of us will also add in because it's practical. The bed can be used for horizontal gymnastics or extracurricular activities.
Wait a minute, let me give you
And
some
sleep.
applause. Wait a minute, let me give you some claps on that. Yay.
I didn't know I was getting claps, but but a lot of it is to cut out the sitting in bed watching TV, sitting in bed reading books, sitting in bed working, and all that extra. So the bed is for sleep and extracurriculars. If you choose that to be your location.
You don't recommend sitting in bed to watch TV or to read books or others. So bed should be for sleep and baby making.
Or
sort
practice.
of. Everybody's not necessarily trying to make a baby.
Practice.
Practice. So the practice baby making.
Everybody in practicing baby making.
Now here's a key point. Erica is part of our elite, very small group. It's called E4A Elite, which means we have like a regular course, that'll take you very far. But then if you really want to go super hardcore, we have E4A Elite. And Erica was part of that group. And when the thing about Erica is that she travels a lot for work. And I don't mean short-term travel or day travel. She'll go for like 6-8 months out of the year and be out of her home environment, which is why environment was so important. Now, when we did the elite stuff, which is very difficult and super high accountability, one of the things that she had key problems with was sleep. And we were doing all these other great behaviors, but that rest and recovery was missing. And once she caught up on that, Erica, I'll let you just talk about what your experience was, because I think that recovery was a huge part of your conversation and what's worked for you.
Okay. I feel like I'm getting put on the spot. Darn it for hitting that call-in button.
Oh, this is the hot seat, Erica.
It's the hot seat on the, as my girl would say, on the interwebs.
That's right. Let's go.
Let's see. What ended up happening is, I think the first interesting thing is with that particular program, there are a lot of modifications as far as structured exercise and eating. And at that point, when I had a lot of problems sleeping, I stopped exercising also. So part of my recovery was just take a break. And the interesting thing is as I took that recovery, I still had significant, I hate to say gains, because gains can go a different way. Gains in a positive way, not gained a bunch of weight. Gotcha. While I was working on resting. And then as I was able to rest more, and part of me resting more, part of that plan came together with I started meditating a lot more. So I don't think it was all just the recovery of sleep. It was coming up with new strategies and new rituals for my life that included things that would get me more mentally grounded and settled. I'm an overthinker by I'm the kid that would literally plan how I'm going to pick up my lunch tray at school and put things on it.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of it, but I don't have OCD. I'm not diagnosable. Was having time to just kind of settle my mind, find ways that would help me start being more productive, and then plan for ways to kind of get rid of all of that stuff that's in the background. So I don't know about you. I'm a lister, and I'm constantly thinking about tasks. And some of it was getting rid of some of the background tasks and background things. I was thinking kind of like turning the apps off on your phone. Remember when iPhone finally had the thing you could flip off and get rid of the background, and then all of a sudden we realized how many things were running in the background?
Right.
Yeah.
And part of my process with meditation and just finding ways to organize myself was getting rid of a lot of the background stuff going on in my mind, which was causing stress. So It was a kind of a multimodal way of turning down the volume of the stress in my life, while still realistically acknowledging that there's some things that are just going to be jacked up, or things that may be stressful that aren't necessarily under your control, but how to try to minimize and be in control of how you react to those types of variables.
So it sounds like and I think we just lost our other hot seat caller.
Oh, come back.
Please call back in. Please call back in. But it sounds like, Coach B, as I listen to Erica, that the needs to be it's almost like a circuit. It's a full circuit that all of the components are connected, and if one is missing, it kind of there's a break in the circuit, and you don't get the full charge.
That's correct.
I have something. He told me something really great before he forgot what that really great thing was. Is part of seeing progress is having enough factors align. So it's not even, if you look at earn, everything doesn't have to be perfect, but there's almost like this baseline moment where you have enough things that align that you get forward progress. Almost like running. You can have a janky stride and kind of move, but once your stride gets better, even if it's not the perfect stride or you're swimming, your stroke isn't perfect, but it has to get to a certain part to have enough forward motion that feels substantial.
Gotcha. The two things in the R category, rest, it's not just sleep. And you raise a valid point. Meditation is in that recovery category. It's a big deal. And stress relief. As a matter of fact, I'd also put, we had Magdalena on, and she is a massage therapist. I swear by you guys, that also goes in the R category for me, recovery in massage. Another thing, and to your point, True, we talk about, and one of the examples we talk about, because I know all the Disney movies. If you've ever seen Finding Nemo, there's this concept of just keep swimming. And in that movie, there's this fish net. And True, you've got to know this movie because you've,
I know it well.
There's a net, and all the fish are in the net, and they're caught, and they're being hauled in by the boat. And then Dory corrals them and say, look, if we align, and instead of going random, we align together and swim together, then we will make progress together. Just keep swimming. And so we talk about these concepts as, trying to get them. They're all out there, and you've got varying levels of success in your rest and environment and activity, nutrition. We try to align those things as much as possible in the same direction, so then you start to see real progress, and that's the big deal. So back to your big point, True. We've got these very analog concepts, these age-old concepts that have to now be translated to the mentality in an environment, in a time where instant gratification, instant access to information, the fun is our link to every single thought we've ever had. And how do you then translate these old, very analog topics to digital delivery and consumption in such a way that it's going to be effective?
Right.
And that's the key part. I think that's what you do. And that's the important thing about what we continue to strive to do better, is to take those analog concepts and make them easily consumable, understandable, take the science out of it, and turn them into behaviors that can easily be digested and duplicated at home.
What do you see as the biggest difference between your older generation clients, Xers and Boomers, and your millennial clients? What do you see the biggest difference in behaviors and mindset? How do millennials approach an engagement with you versus how a boomer would approach an engagement with you?
Two things. Number one, there's a stubborn factor in the older people. In older people, the stubborn factor is very high, and that requires a different tool. So if somebody's coming to me and they're a boomer and they wanna talk, I've got to do more talking, or one-on-one, versus I might be able to send Erica a text, or maybe send, we have like a group meet for the elite class. And so you can send me a note in the middle of the night and I might answer. I might be up, or I'm going to hit you in the morning. But whereas a boomer, I might need to actually get on the phone. It's more that analog thing. And I want to make sure we say hello to Evie Robinson. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, darling.
Hi. My internet is like the worst right now.
Well, we can see you and we can hear you, so it's not all that bad.
Can we give her the stage before her internet kicks us off again?
No, absolutely. That was a great response, B. Thank you. But if we have time, I would like to elaborate on that. But Mrs. Robinson, hello, Mrs. Robinson. I'm sure I'm not the first to say that to you.
No.
But welcome to the Millennials Revealed Lab. Thank you for joining. Please share with everyone a little bit about yourself, where you're calling from. We know your name. Tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from the Bronx, New York.
Okay, BX.
And yes, BX in the house. I'm calling, but I wanted to say hello. My internet's been a little janky throughout this whole conversation for sure, but I'm actually somebody who has worked with B on Eating for Abs. And I'm also one of the stubborn ones that did it for a while and then kind of fell off because of life. And it's not an excuse, but I have a very intense life schedule. And I think one of the things that kind of talks into millennials is that a lot of us are very international now. I run an international urban travel group that has me in an international country almost once a month at this point. And so it's very difficult to stay on track and keep a momentum that you may, have at home than, while you're abroad. And there's just different things. Like, for instance,
it was just getting good.
I know. It really was. Come on, Evie, come back. Come back.
So Evie, like she said, runs an international travel brand, which is incredible. People travel all over the world with her. She's got a TV show, a web-based TV show with Issa Rae. And her brand is just fantastic.
One of the
Nomadness Travel Tribe. And
what is it called?
Nomadness Travel Tribe. Also, Evie and I connected regarding her health. One of the things that she came to me about, aside from losing a few pounds, was she was facing a potential diagnosis for hypertension from her doctor. And if she didn't do something, then she would have to go on medication. And that's something that she was dead set against. And so we talked about, and she's a millennial, we talked about simple behaviors that she could take on that will, you're leaving, Erica?
Well, I mean, otherwise you're just looking at me. Listen, I didn't know if you wanted me to sit here and.
It's up to you.
I didn't know if you needed me available or what.
No. Stick around because we're going to get some closing comments from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So based on the behaviors that she took on, and it wasn't about how she looked because she's very high self-esteem, and it was really about, look, I don't want to go on medication. What can I do to avoid having to take this hypertension diagnosis? And, knowing that she had a very special lifestyle, traveling much like Erica does, it was important that we were able to individualize for her. Now, I know you wanted to go back, True, to talk about.
The differences, right? Some of the differences that you see. And so you say the boomers are more stubborn. And the millennials are more open and
flexible.
More flexible. Okay.
Yeah.
So the millennials are more flexible.
I mean, my mom is a boomer. My dad is a boomer. And I might be telling them something that goes completely contrary to everything they ever thought or ever knew, or all the information that they believed. Yet the science may be on my side. And so to get somebody to embrace a new concept, sometimes that has to be very tiny change, reinforcement, consistent. Erica, please jump in. The science of change. That's what you guys do.
I was going to ask Erica, so did you buy into this approach right away, or did you offer some resistance or some stubbornness?
Well, I think I'm kind of a mixture, because I knew B from another portion of life before I did his program. And I had already started with a trainer doing some lifestyle modifications before I did his program. And the first time I did it was kind of like Evie. I did the Eating for Abs regular program, I think maybe for about a month or two. And then life happened. I got distracted, never quite made it all the way back. I think I made it through like 5 lessons. And then so in that way, I'd say, I wouldn't say I didn't buy in. It's just, I'm not sure if I was ready to focus on that particular modality at that point. So I was still working out and doing things, but I did not complete the Ultimate Nutrition course the first time. And then he brought out E4A Elite, which had a whole nother name that I could never pronounce. And I said it was the opportunity for me to do a do-over, because I had felt bad. I didn't complete the program. It seemed really super neat, had all these resources that I didn't use at all. Even though the first few things I did use, and they were very helpful, and I still relatively do them to this day. So it's a testament to, even if it's not, you don't get the whole program, if you get enough it still is helpful, even though you're not getting the maximum benefit.
Yep.
So then when we did E4A Elite, I was in a space where I was already kind of into the game for a while. I feel like I'm using vernacular. And I was in a space where I was ready to really dedicate the time and energy it took to do that program. And I fully did that one.
Okay.
But to me, what I saw with that program and just my experiences dealing with the different programs, and also just with friends and loved ones that are kind of floating in and out of the I'm trying to get healthy, I'm trying to lose weight, is getting to that point where the particular intervention that you find you're ready to really truly dedicate to it, be it whatever it is. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that gets in the way of health and wellness in general, is being able to somehow truly dedicate and devote yourself to your own wellness and well-being. And it's not even just with weight, it comes up with mental health. There are plenty of people that say they're stressed out, but aren't ready to do the work of being able to live with their own mind. So you'll see the typical person, they stay busy all the time, they're doing something all the time. They say they're totally worn out,
Right.
but then they sit home and then they're bored. And the thing is at some point you have to be able to sit in that space and deal with whatever is going on in your head and face it. And be it facing your own personal trauma, your emotional things you've had to deal with, any other kind of mental health issues, just stress dealing with job and interpersonal relationships. At some point you have to sit and face it, or you're running. And some people run away from it and they literally run, and you'll see them running marathons. Some people are running away and they're running to, get some Coke or some weed or some alcohol. Some are running to food. Or just in all these tumultuous relationships. But at some point, part of the health and wellness circle is at some point you have to sit and deal with whatever is going on, be it, and find what ways work. For some people that may be spiritually tapping into church. It could be meditating. Sometimes people actually need a therapist. But whatever it is, you have to identify it and do it, because if your mental health or your mind or your spirit are unsettled, it typically will find a way to manifest itself physically. Be it something you end up with a bunch of stress hormones, your cortisol goes up and you get chunky, or you're not sleeping, or you have a bunch of aches and pains, headaches, GI distress, all kinds of stuff. And, at some point you have to sit and spend some time actually taking care of yourself, no matter what your schedule is. And it's hard because the culture is one to keep moving, keep grinding, make more money, get more stuff, run around some more, do some more stuff, have more stuff to post on Facebook, get more photos for Instagram. And that doesn't always lend itself to slowing down and doing what you need to do and plugging in the things you need. Because if I decide I want to eat a certain way, that means I have to food prep and grocery shop and stuff. Well, that's time that I may have been using for something else, but I have to reclaim that time. And you have to be willing to reclaim the time you need to take care of yourself, be it working out, be it going to your therapist, be it going to church to feel like you got spiritually refilled, be it spending actual real quality time. Because quality time isn't we were all up in the club chilling. It's having a conversation with nouns and verbs that have nothing to do with pop culture. That, and it's finding ways to pull that time and reclaim that part of yourself and the time it takes to take care of yourself. And I think that's the challenge for everyone. But if you said, what's a big challenge for millennials are so plugged in, literally plugged in, that it's hard to pull out to do self-care.
Well, I was going to ask you, Erica,
literally plugged in. I have friends that are millennials.
I was going to ask you, Erica,
and you can't hardly get them to answer the phone. They only text back.
Erica, look at that face. Why you
I am not a millennial at all. I'm a 40. No, I mean, because I guess I'm proud of the wisdom and experiences that have gotten me to over 40. So it's not being a millennial is bad. I'm proud of the fact that I've lived over 40 years of life and get to collect that amount of wisdom and apply it in my life, which I couldn't do if I was a millennial because I'd be a baby.
Has, by her consistency and hard work, we're seeing 50 pounds less of her today than when she maybe began her journey. And she's done an incredible job, continues to inspire people every single day. She goes on trips. People are like, what the heck happened? Last time we were on a trip together, you were the same size as me. She's been on it. She's been doing her thing and being more mindful and taking time for self-care, which is so hard to do when you're in the wellness profession, when you're healthcare profession. It's not really easy for you guys, especially. So you've done and continue to do an incredible job, Erica. So super proud.
Well, congratulations, Erica, and thank you for all that you do for so many other people. And I'm sure you also work with millennials. So thank you on behalf of the millennial generation for helping them to get their mind right. So we got the mind right, the body right. We're bringing it all together right here.
And that horizontal gymnastics you discussed, that I'm sure that goes in the happiness thing also. Turn that up.
Oh yes. But something I did learn.
It depends.
I'm gonna have to let
wifey
know that we've been using our bed for the wrong reasons. I did not know that until tonight. So I've learned something.
Get you some horizontal gymnastics.
We are coming to the close. Guys, I am thoroughly enjoying this conversation, and I'm glad you stuck around, Erica. Aren't you, Erica? Aren't you glad you stuck around? You're ready to hang up on us.
Well, I mean, I just didn't want to just be hanging out here like.
No,
Tamika Pettigrew just joined.
I know. If Tamika Pettigrew could please hit the hot seat button.
I would love to introduce Tamika Pettigrew to Erica Goodwin. That'd be fantastic.
And I know she knows a thing or two about fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would love for her I know she has a son though. I know she has a 3-year-old son, so I'm not sure if she is.
Tamika Pettigrew's in bed.
You're using it for the wrong reasons, baby. You're using it for the wrong reasons.
Bruce Designs is funny.
With a scarf on.
You are so wrong.
That's great.
I can't hate because I don't use the scarf these days, but there was a time years ago where I did.
And seriously, I am thoroughly enjoying this conversation, and I do not want to end it. But I do want to be respectful and mindful of your time. And I thank you, Coach B, for joining me on this session tonight. You dropped a lot of knowledge, brother. I learned a lot. Erica, thank you so much for calling in. You seriously, I've learned a lot. And I may want to reach out to you again because I think the mental health is a whole nother segment in conversation that we could explore about helping millennials to achieve better mental health in this crazy, rapid, mobile, nonstop world that they live in, that we live in, and you talking about how connected they are. And it really has become a culture of constant comparison for this generation with the social media. And I know firsthand how that is affecting their mental health. Constantly comparing yourself to someone who is not necessarily has the same goals, expectations, beliefs, gifts, passions that you have. And that can be a very unhealthy and dangerous place to be and thing to do. So I would love to reach out to you to have you come on as a special guest, and you and I can chop it up about the importance of the millennial mental health. Right?
Well,
nice.
sure. Anybody that's one of
some more claps for that.
I didn't even know what that was. I mean, I didn't even know what that
Shout out
was.
to Ryan Wilson, who just joined us also.
Really
Hey, Ryan.
I'm not a millennial.
Hey, Ryan. What's up, brother? B, I'll give you, ladies first, B, I'll let you give the closing remarks. Actually, I'll give the finale closing remarks. But, Erica, if you have any closing remarks that you would like to share to our listeners and our viewers based on what we discussed this evening, please, by all means, the floor is yours.
I'll be brief. If I had to say one closing remark, it's just remember that you are worth it. You are worth whatever effort and whatever dedication it takes to be your best self.
I like it.
And you have to treat it like it's important.
Powerful, very powerful. Coach B.
I really enjoyed the call. And thanks so much, guys, for listening. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. You can email me directly at support@eatingforabs.com. I respond to every message. Also, both of these wonderful people have joined me on my podcast, which is the Super Fantastic Show. It's The Coach and the Olympian. And I'd love to have you guys check it out and join me if you have an opinion. And that's it. Check me out at eatingforabs.com. If I can answer any questions, definitely email me and join us at the superfantasticshow.com for the podcast.
All right. Well, thank you both again. Thank you all in the chat room for calling in and for logging on and checking us out tonight. And I guess how I would like to summarize this, and one of the key takeaways that I had was we are composed of mind, body, and spirit. Right? Each of us, those are the components that we're composed of. And Eric, it was something that you said that really sparked this thought, and that we should feed and nourish all of those equally. I think, talking about the physical fitness being a health and wellness, I think it's important, but I think we all know people that go to the gym, and they're taking care of their fitness, and they may even eat right. And that's awesome. So you're feeding the body and you're nurturing and taking care of the body. But if you neglect the mind, the mental health, right? And then if you neglect the spirit, right? Feeding and nurturing your spirit, then that all of those things are connected. So you could be doing all the right things from a physical standpoint, but then that could still cause you to be physically ill if your spirit's not right and your mind's not right, because they're all connected. You could be focused on the mental, but if you're neglecting the physical and if you're neglecting the spiritual, that can throw you out of whack. And my personal belief, not to project my beliefs on anyone else, but at the core, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience in this world. So at our core, we are spiritual beings. So if we're neglecting that piece of it, then that really is the foundation that we need to pour into and feed and nurture to ensure that we can effectively thrive in those other areas and components of our mental and our physical. So that was my wrap up, my takeaway. Thank you to these amazing people for sharing your wisdom, your time, your talent with us. And for all of those who would like to hear even more fascinating information, I think my man, Coach B, hover over that little thing over B's head there and follow him on Twitter. And I think he put his information also in the chat room at eatingforabs.com/NNM. I'm not sure what the NNM is.
That's March is National Nutrition Month, and I got a bunch of special stuff up there, giveaways and things. So definitely do it and follow that.
And follow that and that and that. And also
it's Brady Bunch. Wait.
Yes. And also the superfantasticshow.com. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, the show is super fantastic. So
play True's episode first. It's great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Did Evie have an episode? Was she the one that did the travel episode?
So
now I'm going to have to go on and check out you guys' episodes. All right.
That's fantastic.
So once again, thank you all. Appreciate it. Millennials Revealed every Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Follow me at True Access. That is on Instagram. That is on Twitter. That is on Snapchat. And that is also Facebook. So
Spirit fingers.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.